Welcome to The Secrets of Success. By following the proven techniques of the guests who appear on this series, you'll learn that even successful people run into detours and failures, and how you can apply their success techniques to change your life.
You're now listening to the most unique show on radio, the show dedicated to making you a success. Want to be a people whisperer? Well, our guest, Steve Cockram, will tell us how. Steve, thanks for being with us today.
Pleasure, Bill. Honored to be with you.
Now, Steve, you've written a book, The Communication Code, so that's what we're going to be talking about. And immediately at the beginning of the book, you start off and say, healthy communication is the exception, not the norm. And I guess you want to shock us a little bit, and you did, because we all think we're texting today. We're communicating. More than ever, we're on a cell phone. If we're driving a car, we're skiing down the mountain, we're on the cell phone. Whatever we're doing, we're playing golf on the cell phone. And yet healthy, which I guess is another way of saying good or proper communication, is the exception. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think the first thing to say is I wrote the book with Jeremy Kubicek, so I don't want people to think I wrote it myself. It was very much a team effort. The second thing I'd say is this, is that transmission of information is not the same as healthy communication. So there is an awful lot of information being transmitted into the world, but that isn't the same as communication in our definition. So if you think about it, even when I'm talking to somebody, the fact that I'm trying to communicate is not enough. Communication only happens when I transmit information to you, and in a way that you're able to respond to that transmission in a way that shows me you've heard what I'm saying, the intent behind what I'm trying to say, and that actually you're able to reflect and engage with me to show that actually you've responded the way I hoped you would. By the time that's happened 2 or 3 times, I would say that healthy communication has happened. But in terms of the provocative quote, I think it's just a reality of having been in this world of what we call relational intelligence for at least 20 years. Most people do not hope relationships break down. I in a previous life was a pastor and prepared a lot of people for marriage, and none of them ever sat on my couch, Bill, hoping it ended in nasty, acrimonious divorce, arguing over who had the children. But a lot of them did. None of the people Jeremy and I have helped build businesses over the years and consult with have ever hoped that their business partnership ends in acrimony, legal wranglings over who owns the IP and the money. But the reality is this: making relationships work in a healthy way long term, I still believe is the exception, not the norm. Because however good you are, you have to keep working at it. And so again, there's an awful lot of people who transmit information at each other and do not actually communicate. So there you go. That's my opening salvo.
Well, and that's what we want, because, again, miscommunication, that, as you mentioned, that brings in the lawyers. In some cases, it brings in the court itself. We may have to go before a justice of the peace if it's a marriage, a divorce situation, or certainly unpleasantries that can be costly, timely, and probably unneeded if we would follow much of your advice. I guess no one is going to be that A++ student, but if we could do a lot better than we're doing, it would certainly solve a lot of these problems. You mentioned, I took a quote out of your book, you say the book is about relationships and soft skills, which are the hardest to learn. Now, again, most of us think soft skills, oh, that's that easy stuff. But tell us what that means.
I have a love-hate relationship with the term soft skills, because it allows, often in commercial terms, people to dismiss it as, oh, that's the soft stuff. I would say that basically being relationally intelligent is the skill set of leadership in the new world, particularly because you used to be able to get away with being very, very clever, and people would effectively sell your brain power of processing data and information and strategy for a certain amount per hour. AI is gradually doing more of the grunt work of pure computation and will